Well, Mike Garrett is a business support professional. Hello, Mike. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you, David. Nice to be here.
You're a change management professional. You've supported businesses to manage change. You had a long career in Shell, and you worked with them managing change. And here you are offering your services to other companies in a sort of goal-orientated change management and achievement methodology involving having an outstanding year.
Well, I think they're very much linked, although they are two distinct things, but they both lead to businesses getting great results and enjoying the success they deserve. So the first area really is to work with business leaders, entrepreneurs or business owners to really go through a plan to how making business can really perform. And the other area is very much linked to change, and it's about staff engagement and staff alignment and how you take the stakeholders through the change that your business is going through.
And the outstanding year concept, how does that work?
Well, I think the first thing that we spend a lot of time doing is actually defining what an outstanding year would look like. And I think a lot of business owners may have a good idea of what it is from their business perspective, but not looking at the whole balance of their lifestyle. So we actually spend a lot of time saying, what does it mean for you? What does an outstanding year really look like? If you were to have an outstanding year, what would be the elements that would deliver that? And that can be quite eye-opening. And then once we do that, we say, right, let's get a plan to get you there. And one of the things that we really focus on is perhaps around the mindset. A lot of businesses may have some very specific goals, but if they keep doing the same thing that they've always done and they're not getting to where they want to go, then you need to think about the mindset, the behaviours and the thought processes behind that.
Yes, I see. And so the advisory role that you give, so you're not telling people what to do, it's a case of asking the right questions.
Absolutely. I think a good question is probably more powerful than giving good advice or the right answer. I believe that people have an inner wisdom that knows what to do, but they're great at sabotaging themselves. They're great at making excuses for not to do what they know they've got to do. And so part of my role is to keep that thought process on track and hold them accountable to do the things that are going to give them the results that are important to them.
Yeah, so it's a very much a goal-orientated approach. But having this time horizon of a year's worth of planning, do you find that works for people?
I do, yeah. And it's not just to look for it for a year. I mean, the overall objective is for a transformation that goes on year. So we may start with, say, like a five-year idea, but narrowing it down to a specific year is very good because it then actually goes, okay, yeah, I know where I'm working to and I know where I want to be at the end of that year. Okay,
can you give me an example of a case that you worked on that?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, it's funny. They all come down to some similar examples where people don't do what they know they should do.
Yeah.
So, I worked with somebody the other month who was having real problems with a particular member of the staff, and that member of staff was spreading poison. The morale was dropping. And there were pity parties in the corridor, and he knew that he had to address that, but he kept putting it off. Partly because he didn't have the confidence to do it, partly because he didn't really know what he had to do, and partly because it's very easy not to do it. So he said, I don't know how to do it, but after a little while he did know how to do it, and he did it, and he had a really empowering conversation with that particular individual, asking that person some great questions. It wasn't comfortable for him, but the business results that have come from that have been great.
So there's quite a lot in what you've been saying, and if someone was considering business support and they didn't know, exactly what they needed or what you could provide, what's the best way of getting into a conversation with you to unpack that?
That's a really good question, and I think for someone to decide, the power is in the conversation. So I just like to sit down, a cup of coffee, and sit with someone for an hour and just ask loads of questions, and for me to really understand what their challenges are within the business, and then for them to see whether the approach that I have works for them. At the end of the day, the chemistry has to be right. I think I've got the experience and the intuition to work well, but two people working together, you only get to find out by having a really good conversation. So if someone's interested, let's have a coffee.
Thanks very much, Mike. Well, we look forward to finding out more about the kinds of offerings that you're going to bring into MindWorks later on.
Great, and I'm looking forward to being part of MindWorks.
Thank you.
Thank you.